In today's video, we're going to be talking about wedges and wedge fitting, and specifically an app that's been launched by Titleist and Vokey that partners with Trackman to allow you to really analyze the way you hit your wedge shots. So what the app's going to do is take us through a small questionnaire that we'll look into in a minute, and that'll ask us things about the type of shots we play with our wedges, the lofts we currently use, the lofts we'd like to use, the conditions we play in, the shots we like to play, all that kind of stuff. From that, it's then going to ask us to hit a series of shots with each of the wedges that it's recommending and start to make some decisions upon the grinds and the bounces and the lofts that are going to give us enough options and versatility around the green to get up and down a bit more often, hit those wedge shots closer and make a few more birdies. So first things first, we're going to go and do the questionnaire. Come along with me. Let's see how this goes. So the first part of the question here is just to enter some personal details that allows the fitter, in this case me, to send the information on to the golfer afterwards, also have it for our records for future use. If the golfer would like to place an order, like to look back on what happened, we've got it all there saved. And we come now into the golfer information sheet. So the first question we're trying to work out here is the golfer right or left-handed. So in my case, right-handed. What's the golfer's handicap? Down at 0, so that's fine. The next three questions now are quite important when it comes to the app making some predictions about the type of wedges that you're likely to need. So the first one, what's your typical course conditions? I would potentially be looking at that and thinking, well, I play my golf year round. I tend to play in a variety of different places. So for me, I don't necessarily always playing soft or firm. It could be anywhere in between. So I tend here to click medium on the basis that the app's going to then look to give me the most versatile option that it can. The same is true when we're thinking about bunker conditions. So again, we're not playing the same golf course every time. We're playing year round where bunker conditions will change. We're going to hit medium again just to allow for that little bit of variety in the conditions we play and therefore hopefully some versatility into the wedges we're fitted into. Final one, what's your level of confidence with bunker shots? Well, I feel pretty comfortable hitting shots out of bunker, so I'm going to click high there. The system again is just using that for when it thinks about the clubs I specifically say I'm going to hit from the sand, what type of club, what type of sole, and bounce might give me the best options to improve my confidence there if it's not already up towards this top end of the scale. So now that we've done that, we move into the club details. Now, my pitching wedge, the T100 here, has 46 degrees of loft, so I can click onto that. I currently play a 60-degree wedge, which I like. I don't really want to change that. So when I click onto the 60 here, you'll see the app start to do some magic. What it's working out there is what would be the recommended wedge lofts to fill the gaps in there. Now, that's trying to make sure I don't end up with large gaps in between these clubs where I'm having to start to hit fiddly little three-quarter or knockdown shots or hit a wedge shot really hard just to find a certain yardage. So once we've got that popped into there, we're going to move on to the type of shots that I like to play with each of these clubs. So we'll start with the 46. Well, I definitely hit full shots with it. I definitely hit some pitch shots with it. Never really opened the club face, so we'll leave that one unchecked. Moving into the 50, same thing really. I would definitely hit full shots, definitely hit pitches, don't really ever open the face. These last two here now are going to be where the versatility starts to kick in. So I might hit a full shot with it occasionally. Would definitely hit lots of pitches. Would definitely open the face up. Would definitely use it out of a bunker shot, particularly for those longer 20 to 40 yard shots. Coming down into the 60, most lofted wedge, never really hit it full. Definitely pitch, definitely open face, definitely bunker. So the system now has an understanding of the type of shots I like to play with my wedges. And now it's going to ask me to rank those shots in terms of how often they occur. So if I think about my 46-degree wedge, definitely full power would be the most common, followed by pitch. As we move into 50, that might just flick the other way a little bit. I might tend to pitch it more than full. Probably quite close to 50-50 in that instance, though. As I move now into my 54, full's going to definitely drop somewhere down that ranking, maybe just above bunker here. I think this would probably be the order I would say. I'm most likely to hit a pitch with it, followed by opening the face up, followed by full, followed by a bunker. As I said, really it would just be those longer bunker shots. And then finally with the 60, definitely open face at the top there, and then followed that up by bunker. So, it's primarily my bunker club, so every bunker shot I hit there is played pretty much with that club, so I want it to be important when it comes into the ranking. So what the system's then going to do from that is start to ask me to hit a series of shots. Let's get back onto the Trackman. We'll see which shots it's asking me to hit, and we'll go through that process of starting to find out which wedges might be the best fit for my game. So having completed the questionnaire there, the app has first of all made some predictions about lofts it think I might need to make sure I don't have any gaps in between my wedges when I'm hitting shots into the green. So I've selected the four wedges here that the app recommended, a 46, a 50, a 54 and a 60, and it recommended those based off of the fact that my current pitching wedge has 46 degrees of loft, that's my T100 pitching wedge, and that the most lofted wedge I'd like to use is a 60 degree. It's filled in the gaps then at 50 and 54 to try to space the lofts out evenly. That should give me options when I'm hitting full shots into the green that there aren't big gaps between the wedges, but also allow me to play the type of shots I'd like to. Now, I've popped up on the right-hand side of the screen here the fitting app so we can see what's happening there. The first thing it's asked me to do is hit some full power shots with the 46-degree wedge. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 3 of those. Now, the aim here is I've taken all the data off the screen on the left. I don't want to get bogged down by that. These are just going to be full power shots, not overthinking it. And what we'll start to see up on the right-hand side here is that the app will start to plot on this little chart exactly how I'm delivering the club into the ball. So the Trackman there is speaking to the app, and it's giving it some information about my delivery of the club into the ball, and it's going to use that across the different shot types to make some decisions about the loft, about the bounce, and about the grind of the wedge that should give me the options to hit the shots I want to based upon the answers we returned in the questionnaire earlier. So we've got one more full 46 to hit there, and then we're going to move on to the next shot. So pretty happy with all 3 of those. Felt like pretty good strikes, all pretty neutral down the line there. So first thing we can see up there, we're just going to flick that off the screen. There we go. But first thing we can see up there now on the right-hand side here. So on the left here, we've got angle of attack. We've got steep to shallow. So you can see there I'm pretty neutral in that zone in the middle. In terms of shaft lean here now, we've got on my hands forward and my hands back. Again, I'm leaning slightly more towards hands forward than back, but pretty neutral overall. So immediately there, we're potentially looking at the full shots being a fairly neutral delivery of the club. So second type of shot it's asking me to hit here now is the full power shot with the 50-degree wedge. So we're going to repeat that. 3 full power swings with the 50 there. And initially here, because I've told the system that I'm going to hit full power shots with this club, it's starting to look at the gapping. Will there be a big gap between this and the 46 where I might struggle then to play certain shots or access certain pins when I'm out on the golf course? So 2 more of those. A little bit right, I expect. Oh, pretty good. So I can see on the right-hand side that my carry with the 46 was 116. It's 105 here on average, so just over 10 yards. So it looks like the app there's predicted exactly the right lofts to give me about a 10-yard window, which is pretty comfortable for me. Pretty decent strike. Might have pulled it a smidge maybe, yeah. Good. Yeah, so I've carried that one a little bit further. That gap's now down to just under 10 yards. So 107 is the average carry with this one, which the app is maybe saying that the gap's potentially a bit too small and has thrown up a red flag there. So that'd be something for me to look at. I suspect some of that is where I pulled that last shot and it's gone a little bit further. So I maybe wouldn't be too worried about that. And to be honest, 9 yards, 10 yards, I'd be okay with that in terms of a gap. So we see at the top there now, it's asking me to hit a little pitch shot with the 54-degree wedge. Now, it's looking for a shot here of 15 to 20 yards. So again, it's going to look now at my pitch shot delivery. How do I put the club into the ground? Am I steep or am I shallow? Are my hands forward or are my hands back? And that's where it's going to make decisions about the soul and the grind and the bounce and all the things that might be best for me. So we'll come into there, right, little 15 to 20 yard pitch. The system here will give me a little bit of guidance if I hit the ball too far, which I haven't. And you can see there now we start to form a second circle over here where we've got the full shots in here, the pitch shot on this side. So you can see hands a little bit forward, angle of attack a little bit steeper with the pitch than it was with the full swing. Potentially might expect that. Felt a pretty nice strike. Yeah, good. Happy with that. Okay, we'll go 1 more of those. Again, felt pretty nice. They felt 3 pretty consistent shots, if I'm honest. Good. Yeah, and you can see there the way it averages out. So slightly more hands forward there with the pitch. Slightly steeper angle of attack. We'd probably expect all those things, particularly given some stuff that I might be working on in my technique at the moment. Final one now is a 10 to 15 yard shot where I'm opening up the face of the lob wedge. So I've grabbed the 60-degree wedge here. This is actually a carbon replica, of the 60 I've got in my bag at the moment, so it looks super familiar. So I was going to set the club face slightly open at address. Little 10 to 15 yard shot here. A little bit higher up the screen there, slightly more delicate shot. Will be interesting to see where this registers in terms of delivery. Yeah, I would expect it to be shallow. I would expect it to be the hands further back because they're things that are going to probably increase the launch angle and therefore come along with that more open face technique. So again, set the club face there at about 1 o'clock. Kind of a bit lower on the face, launch a little bit lower into the screen perhaps. But yeah, pretty good. Again, one last shot here, set the club face into there. Hit that a little bit harder maybe, but should still be okay, I would think. Perfect, so the fitting there is done. We can already see some predictions on the right hand side here, but we'll go a little bit more in depth in that in a minute. And as I said, you can see here my 3 grid. Here's my full shot club delivery, pitch shot club delivery, open face club delivery. You can see they're different. And that's where the app's working really hard there. Based on the answers I gave it in terms of the type of shots I like to play and the regularity of how I play them, it's trying to give me lofts that are gapped appropriately, and then bounces and grinds that allow me to play all of those shots to my maximum potential, given I've said that I play medium or they're potentially very varied ground conditions. It's trying to give me clubs to make sure I don't have too many gaps and too many difficulties in playing the shots I want to play. Let's go and take a look at the results and we'll talk through why it's given me the wedges that it has. Okay, so again, we can see here the way I've delivered the clubs. It's asked me to hit 4 different types of shots. Full swings with the 46-degree wedge, full swings with the 50-degree, some pitches with the 54, and then some open face shots with the 60. And that was based upon the question I answered of the shots I'm likely to hit and therefore the regularity of how often I'm likely to play them. We can see in the center here my technique. So again, I described it earlier, shallow at the top, steep at the bottom. So with my full swing shots here, the F, I'm pretty neutral. Get a little bit steeper with my pitches, and then a little bit shallower with my open face shots. And we can start to see there that the hand position, fairly neutral on the full, hands a little bit forward when I get steeper, hands a little bit further back when I'm a bit more neutral. All things you'd expect to see. Now on the right hand side here, we can start to see some recommendations. So if we start with the 46, 46 there refers to the loft of the club. 10 refers to the amount of bounce, and the amount of bounce there is simply if you hold the shaft vertically, that's how much the back edge of the sole sits behind the front edge. So that's a test you can look at on your own wedge. That's simply the amount of bounce, and the greater that number, the more bounce there is there. F refers to the shape of the sole, and in Vokey terms here, that means full. So that basically means it's a full flat sole. The reason I've been fitted for those in both of these 2 wedges is really just because I'm primarily playing full power shots with them. So therefore, a standard sole, would be perfect. We come into the more lofted wedges now. 54, 12 degrees of bounce in the D grind, and we'll look at what the D grind is in a minute. Same bounce and grind into the lob wedge there. So that's really, again, just looking at my delivery, looking at the type of shots I'm likely to try and play, and then recommending that they're going to be the best fit. So if we hit the why these grinds tab here, you can see here 46 10, it's 100% match. I recommended all-purpose grind, perfect. Moving into the 50 there were 2 options available, the 50-12 or the 50-08. So your full club is neutral. They've put me into the slightly higher of the 2 bounce options there, but course conditions medium, no problem at all there. 60-40, so potentially wouldn't make a huge difference either way which of those I played, but slightly erring on the side of the 12-degree bounce being more appropriate. The next 2 are quite interesting now, and I think this number here, how much of a match it is based upon their experience and the way the app works, is that I'm quite a strong match for both these wedges. So really it's a bit of an open goal there that the 54-12D and the 60-12D are 74% and 87% most likely to be the perfect match for me. You can see here that some of these wedges, particularly the low bounce ones, definitely not going to be a match for me. So again, we can see there that the shape of the D grind is basically got this little bit of cambering, a little bit of relief where there's some shaving been taken away from both the heel, the back edge, and the toe end, and that just allows the club to be quite versatile. That's giving us the option to both open the face, to play it square, to hit full shots, to hit pitches, and again, that's based really upon the answers there. So the shots I'm likely to play, as you can see with both of those, they're really all there. So it's trying to give me a club that's versatile, that matches my delivery. It gives me the best opportunity to hit the shots I want to hit without having to sort of manipulate the club too much to get the perfect outcome. Okay, so huge thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found that helpful. I think the wedge fitting app's a fantastic tool for helping to narrow down the search based upon your delivery, based upon the type of shots you play, based upon the conditions you play in, for wedges that are going to really help to complement your game. You know, it's covering off all the bases there. Are they gapped appropriately so you don't have big gaps or small gaps between them, so they each do a distinct job when it comes to hitting approach shots into the green? Do they suit the type of shots you like to play and the regularity of how you play them? So that questionnaire at the start is really important because it gives the app some information about what you intend to do. The Trackman data then validates that by saying, well, let's hit a series of the shots that you're telling us you're going to play. Let's see how you deliver the club. And then from our wedge range, we can make some predictions there based on what we think is going to be the best fit. We use this as part of our wedge fitting process here, so feel free to come in and book a fitting with us. We can take you through that exact process, work out what your wedges are doing for you. Is it the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? How can we improve it? As I say, I hope you found that video helpful. Look forward to seeing you again soon.